I will start my presentation again. So I wanted to thank Indian Academy of Science for providing me this opportunity to present my research work here. And today I will be talking about the structural and dynamical properties of water near the peptide nanotubes. But before I start my presentation, I will like to, please next slide. So I will like to give a big overview of my research. So it is basically I do the simulation of biomolecules like aggregation of prime peptides. So prime peptides are very important because this self-aggregation leads to many neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer diseases, etc. So what we do actually, we try to find out the critical interactions which lead to the self-aggregation process. And if we know about this thing, then we can inhibit this self-aggregation process. In that way, this study is very important. And we also study the stability of proteins, like proteins in the ionic liquids. And some part of my research work is also related to the structure and dynamic properties of water near the biomolecules. And today's talk is actually concentrated on this topic. As you know, the water is actually, biomolecules and water are like inseparable things. So when the water is present near the biomolecules consist of actually many different kind of residues like hydrophilic units, hydrophobic units, etc. So obviously the structure of the water will be very much different near these units, and the general structure of the water is generally tetrahedral in nature, but when it comes to different residues, the structure will be different and the water can be low density or high density. So what I mean by low density, that if the water is less is 4 coordinated or less than 4 coordinated, then we generally say it as the low density water. But if suppose some interstitial molecules, water molecules are present in between the first and the second cell of the water, then we say it as the high density water. We also done some studies which shows that if there is a extra hydration layer near the hydrophobic unit, that leads to the stabilization, and this thing is actually modulated by the presence of different co-solvents in the solution, ions, pH, etc. And we have a couple of publications in this regard. So now, before shifting to my main topic, I will like to give one more research area of my, which is very relevant to this current scenario. I use bioinformatics tools for enzyme engineering and also drug discovery. So where we have done a study now regarding the coronavirus, and we have recently published this thing in the JPC letter. Next slide, please. So we tried to design epitope-based. So we tried to design epitope-based potential vaccine candidate for human and cell-mediated immunity to combat this severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. So what we exactly done is we took the spike protein, and with the help of bioinformatic tools, we identified the epitopes. Epitopes are the regions in the antigen where the antibody goes and bind. And B cell and T cells are known to be the cells which activate the defense mechanism in the human body. So we identified these epitopes and we designed the vaccine. This is the vaccine picture you can see in the down pictures. Then we docked this vaccine to the human antibody, and we done the molecular dynamic simulation to find out the crucial interaction between this vaccine and the human antibody. And also we tried to find out the main energy contribution. So we calculated the free energy, and we found that the electrostatic and the van der Waals interaction is the main are the main forces which stabilizes the complex. And then we back translated this protein sequence of the vaccine and optimized the codons in E. coli just to see whether whatever we have designed can be actually synthesized or not, to also see whether the B cell and the T cell can be expressed properly or not. So this is my recent work. And coming to my topic, which I am supposed to say today. So my today's talk is mainly concentrated on this structural and dynamical properties of water near the peptide nanotubes. Why peptide nanotubes? Because they have wide application in the biotechnology, cancer therapy, etc. And peptides are generally biodegradable, so they are environment friendly and they have low toxicity. So these things, these are very important nowadays. So we all know what is a peptide bond. When two amino acids of this kind, they come and do some condensation reaction, and you can have a peptide bond. So in a peptide, so you can synthesize different peptides from different amino acid, and depending on the type of amino acid, you can have different nanostructure like nanotube, nanofiber, nanovesicles, etc. And in a peptide, you will have hydrophobic unit, you will have a hydrophilic unit, and also you will have a lot of peptide bond. Next slide. So what we done? So we took this G6K combination. G6 means glycine, 6 unit, and K is lysine. And we actually acylate, the end C terminal and the N terminal of this unit is capped. And then we arranged it in a ring fashion to design our nanotube. So depending on the number of amino acid on the circumference of the ring, your pore size will increase or decrease. Then we stack these rings one over another to form the nanotubes. So the lysine part is actually outside the nanotube, and your acetyl group is inside the nanopore. So we designed this kind of nanotubes, and we solvated in water. So it looks like the blue dots are actually water molecules, and we designed different nanotubes of different length and different pore size. So 18 into 15 means 18 peptides are on the surface of the circumference, and 15 layers has been created. So 15 is related to the height of the nanotube. And we also done some 18 into 12 and 16 into 12. So the height of the nanotube we increased along the Z axis. Yeah, so this is the system composition, what we simulated. And we simulated for charged and the neutral composition. What I mean by charged is we protonated that lysine unit, so it becomes N+. And to neutralize that unit, we have put some chloride ions. That's the number of ions is our chloride. And that's how we simulated the system. And the fraction of number, we plotted the fraction of hydrogen bond between the peptide units, and it is found that in the neutral system, the hydrogen bond between the peptides are more compared to the charged unit, which is obvious because in the charged unit, the peptides will start making hydrogen bond with the water molecules. So one thing I need to say here, that whatever this nanostructure we have designed, we have to make sure that this interpeptide bonds should be so strong that they should able to hold each other. So it's not possible that you can take any kind of system. You cannot take two small nanotube, because otherwise it will just break. So this hydrogen bond between the peptides are very important. So we ran around 100 nanosecond of the simulation, and after 100 nanosecond of the simulation, our system looks like this. As you can see that inside the pore there is some water molecules, and between the peptide there is a water molecule which is less dense, and then outside the pore there is a lot of water molecules. We also done the density profile of this system. So this is the density profile of the water molecules. So as you enter the nanotube along the z-axis, so the water density decreases, and as you go outside the nanotube, the water density increases. And it is found that for the charge system, the water is more inside the pore compared to the neutral analog. And if we plot the water density along the x-axis and y-axis, so as you encounter the nanotube wall, then it decreases. And then as you go inside the pore, it increases. And then again it decreases and increases. So here also you will find that for the charge system, these peaks are more pronounced compared to the neutral analogs, which is obviously because inside the charge analog you have some ions inside trapped. So the water will like to make more bonds with the ions, and so the inside the pore the water density increases. So we calculated the translation tetrahedral parameter, and it is given by this equation where Rk is the distance between the central atom with the kth atom, and R bar is actually the average radial distribution function. So when we calculate this, we will get some value, and if the Sk value is closer to 0, that means this is more tetrahedral. And our main aim for this study was to find out the structure of water near this peptide nanotube. So what we found that for the neutral analog, the tetrahedral order is more compared to the charged one. So we also done the orientation profile of the water molecules of this nanotube, and we found actually three peaks, three position of the peaks, and so around this 104 or 100 around 110 degree this thing. These peaks are mainly due to the tetrahedral water molecules, but we also find some peaks near the lower angle. So that may be due to the broken hydrogen bonds and bent hydrogen bond, and that peak is actually more pronounced in case of the smaller system. So you can see for the smaller system, the peak height is more pronounced. We calculated the hydrogen bond dynamics of the water inside and outside the pore. So this is the total result. So what we can see that inside the pore we have more hydrogen bond lifetime compared to the outside pore. So this trend is followed throughout. This is because inside the pore you have a lesser number of water molecules. So when a water will try to make bond with the another water molecule, it will try to find out that neighbor. In the inside the pore you have lesser number of water molecules, so the water molecule takes more time to find the nearest neighbor, so it will break the bond after a long time. That's how your hydrogen bond lifetime increases. And also so that for that reason you can find that for 16 into 12 we have the highest hydrogen bond lifetime, and for 18 into 12 we have the lowest hydrogen bond lifetime, because 18 into 12 have bigger pore and smaller height. So there the water can diffuse very easily. So you can have the probability of getting water neighbors is more. And outside the pore, the hydrogen bond lifetime of the 18 into 15 system is more, because that's more heterogeneous system. And so your hydrogen bond lifetime is more. And also for the charge system, the hydrogen bond lifetime is more compared to the neutral analog. So we also calculated the hydrogen bond lifetime between the peptide and the water, and we find the similar kind of tendency. But the thing what we should notice here is, in this case, outside the pore, the charge system is having lesser hydrogen bond lifetime compared to the neutral analog, but that's very small amount, but it is less. The reason may be In the charged analog, the lysine unit is charged, so the chloride ion will come to this charged unit, so which reduces the probability of the hydrogen bond, which reduces the probability of the peptide to make hydrogen bond with the water molecules, and so maybe the hydrogen bond lifetime is less. And ultimately, next slide. So therefore, we can conclude that the density of the water molecule is actually more for the charge system along the Z direction compared to the neutral analogs. The charge systems are found to be more inhomogeneous. The structure of water is found to be more tetrahedral in the neutral system. The tetrahedrality decreases as we go towards the smaller nanotubes. The nanotube shows maximum hydrogen bond lifetime in the inner pore. The lifetime increases for the charged analogs due to the presence of trapped chloride ions inside the nanotubes. 18 into 12 system shows minimum hydrogen bond lifetime in the inner pore due to the larger pore to height ratio. The peptide water hydrogen bond lifetime of the charged analog are lesser outside the pore due to the favorable interaction between the negatively charged chloride ions and positively charged lysine group, which decreases the probability of the interaction between the peptide and water. And this next slide. So ultimately, I will like to acknowledge DST sir for funding my research, and obviously NIT Karnataka. Yeah, this is my research group in NIT K. And next slide, please. And thank you all for listening to my talk.